Hi, this is Walking Wider and I'm Bart. There's a energy here of somehow putting on a mask, pretending perhaps that you are in a space that you're not, well, headspace, pretending that you're happy when you're not, pretending that you are, I'm just gonna do something with the light here, that you are, I don't know, showing, people around you, many faces, perhaps not really being totally honest with yourself about what your needs are, what you're wanting, how you want to show up in the world. There's a sense of some type of pressure, which I think for the most part is something you're putting on yourself, pressure to be a certain way, to lead a certain way, to act as if things are in a certain way, even though you might not think that they are. Some of you kind of have roles where you are a lighthouse to other people, where people are drawn to your light, and you might in some ways feel that that's a little exhausting, that it's a little like people sometimes cross your boundaries because you might have this pleaser gene, or this people-pleasing thing. But, for a lot of you, I think it's just that you are, you have kind of like this energy of kindness around you, this energy of, you might be a healer, you might be working in some sort of capacity that, or be very intuitive, very good at sensing how people are feeling emotionally. And so people are drawn to that because they feel heard, they feel understood and seen. So there's something there. But at least in part, it's like you're acting, perhaps, you're trying to, and I don't mean that you're not a kind person, that is not that at all, but it's like sometimes you might feel like you have to put on a brave face, this energy of, yes, I'm always there for other people, I'm trying to help, I'm trying to do all of that, but, where are people for me type of energy. There's something there. Let's see what the challenge is here. All right, Spirit. What's the challenge here for the viewer? And welcome in if you're new. Welcome back if you've been here before. This is an intuitive tarot channel. And yeah, so we'll see what comes through here. I read a lot about shadow work, a lot about, childhood wounding, past lives, karma that we have with us. That's and here's the Six of Cups, which to me is a card about, well, of course, about thinking back, but also can sometimes extend into past lives and the energy that we carry with us, the karma that we carry with us, that type of thing. All right, here's the challenge. Well, these cards are part of the challenge. The Nine of Wands, is a card that talks about having to kind of stand up for yourself, have to put your foot down, have a lot of boundaries, kind of feeling like maybe a little overwhelmed, like people were stepping into your field. And again, I'm kind of sensing this lighthouse energy, like people are drawn to you. And sometimes if people are in a place of, not feeling really good within themselves, they might not really pick up on other people's boundaries. They might become so entangled in their own pain that they are not really, they're not really realizing that they're crossing other people's boundaries and maybe taking up too much of their energy, too much of their time. Here's the Strength card. So this has, taking a lot out of you. It's really been sort of a draining thing, and perhaps you have a pattern of people pleasing, or a pattern of having to feel like I'm trying to fit in, I'm trying to please everybody, to help as many people as I can, which of course is noble, but if it's draining you, there's something out of balance here. So there's something with the Strength, with setting boundaries, Here's the Four of Swords, so the need to rest, the need to take care of yourself, that has been challenging for you. And here's the Nine of Cups, which, you know, is wish fulfillment, but it's also, you know, very much an energy of self-love, of taking care of yourself, of filling up your own cups, your own needs, giving to yourself, and not always just, you know, giving to others. And since these are all in the challenging position, it's, you know, there's a theme here of overgiving, you know, or maybe trying too hard to be, you know, pretending that everything is okay, even though you might be tired, you might be exhausted, you might feel like people are pulling on your energy, but it's like, well, I don't want to hurt anyone, so I'm just going to, you know, this thing of people ask you, how are you doing? And you're like, oh, I'm okay. Even though you might really need, you know, someone to care for you a little bit. And that's a deep pattern for some of us, you know, that we are not really good at asking for help, even when we clearly, you know, either need specific help or just need people to kind of leave us the fuck alone. Oh, sorry, the F alone. You know, for a little while, so that you can kind of tend to your own energy. King of Pentacles here. Yeah, your own personal power, you know, stepping into your power, kind of being focused on manifesting your own abundance, your own personal growth, your own success. And for some of you, it might be kind of hard to feel like you have the time to put into your own dreams and your own, your own dreams, your own life, because there's energies around you pulling on you, kind of trying to, to pull on your energy. And that's not to say that they do it out of, you know, trying to put you in harm's way or anything like that. But again, often when people pull on your energy and don't really read your boundaries, it comes from their own pain. And so it's, you know, it's kind of a circle thing. Okay, what's the supportive energy of this spirit? What is supporting the viewer here? How can they work with this? Two of Wands. Oh, they're just flying out here. Yeah, you know, for some of you, this is like quite literally, you know, you can maybe benefit from things as simple, they might not be simple, you know, if life is really chaotic, but trying to make plans that kind of focus on your own needs, or carving out some time where, you know, there's a little bit of time for you to rest, there's a little bit of time to you to care for yourself, to do things that kind of fill up your cup again, you know, with the Nine of Cups over here. Do the things that is going to make sure that you have extra energy to give to other people. So choosing, you know, to care for yourself. And that might, even as I'm saying it, I'm sensing this energy of, you know, but of how difficult that actually is for some of you, because it's kind of like, well, then I'm letting people down. But the reality of that is you're really not. You know, you need to care for yourself. If you're going to have energy to give to other people, you are entitled to care for yourself. You're supposed to care for yourself. You know, there's something here about your guides trying to tell you, you know, you really, really need to take time for yourself, to follow what intuitively is calling you, you know. Stop pretending that everything is okay if there's a deep part of you that knows that there's something you need in order to feel stable, in order to feel loved, in order to feel, you know, like you have energy and abundance and all of that good things. Here's the Eight of Cups and the Hanged Man. You know, there's a need to leave a pattern of overgiving behind here so that you can tend to yourself. And it's very important that you realize that that is not selfish. To take care of your own needs is not selfish. That's something that everybody should be doing. which of course it can be hard, if you have a family or you have a very demanding job, but there's a sense of urgency here, a sense of it really is important that you hear this message, with the High Priestess here, that you follow what you intuitively know to be healthy for you. And overgiving is not healthy because you're depleting your own energies then. This is a little bit of a tough love message. Yeah, temperance here, balance, to strive to become more into balance. And for some of you, that means you need to learn to say no, or not right now, or I'm sorry, I can't help you with that. Someone else has to do that, or I don't, whatever it is for you. And that feels like, Ace of Swords here, being very clear about what you're capable of or what you're willing to do. Not just capable of, because we are often capable of way more than what is actually healthy for us. But that doesn't mean that we should do it. We need to take care of ourselves. Yeah, Four of Cups here. Meditation, rest, healing. Just taking a time out for yourself. It doesn't have to necessarily be something big and fancy. But my feeling with it is, since Spirit is talking about it here, there's they're quite serious about it. They're like, you need to work on leaving behind this pattern of people pleasing and acting as if you're okay, when quite honestly you are wanting to do something else. You're being called to live in a way that better sustain what you need. Okay. Didn't even justice here. Yeah, something is out of balance. There's a need for balancing here. Ace of Wands. This is the potential for starting something new. But, all the aces are potential for new beginnings. But this is, it's a potential. So you have to act here. Spirit is like, there is another way of doing this. But you have to actively choose it. To actually decide, I'm not going to, be in this lack mentality anymore. This lack of, there's kind of like an underlying thinking of, well, this is all I deserve, or I really need to, help people. So if I overextend myself, that's just, here's the King of Swords, and he's very, in this deck, can you guys, he looks like, I don't know, kind of like overwhelmed in a way, or, kind of just not in necessarily a good space. So I'm sorry about the light here in these cards. So there's this feeling here of needing to step out of this energy of overgiving, of always pleasing other people and and putting on a mask to kind of, mask your own need for whatever it is that you are needing. Here's the King of Cups, which, there's a need for you to really step up and take care of your needs. And sometimes, and this might be worth remembering, sometimes when we give to other people, we are not necessarily always helping them, because we have some of us that likes to people please. Well, not that we like it, but that has, have that pattern. Until we really see it and do something to change it, there might be this aspect of trying to fix other people's problems, which is not really helping them, because then they don't learn from that process. So there's this energy of remembering that helping people is sometimes actually saying no. Saying, I hear you and I would like to listen to what you have to say, but this is your problem and you have to fix it. That will free up more time for you. And I'm well aware that some of you are like, oh my goodness, no. But balance. There has to be some balance here. So a new vision for the future. All right. What you don't see coming here in this is Here's the Tower moment. Yeah, again, and not to, but I really feel there's somewhat urgency in this. That Spirit is kind of like, you really need to take better care of yourself. It's not fair that you have to be all kinds of things for other people, and not, get something in return. There has to be better balance here. And that's not, it's not that it's necessarily other people's fault. It's your responsibility to put your boundaries up. And then other people, of course, have to learn to respect that. And that might, be an issue in itself. But it's really important that you take care of you. Tell me about the Tower here. Yeah, Ten of Wands. Because you're going to burn yourself out. You're literally going to burn, well, not literally, I hope not, but you're going to burn yourself out if you keep carrying burdens that are not, yours. Yeah, balance again, justice. It's not fair that other people put, their burdens on you. Whether you have, kind of just accepted it or whatever, but there's definitely a need here to say, to take off the mask, speak up for yourself, say, hey, I need help with this, or I'm sorry, I can't help you with that, you need to deal with that yourself, or, whatever it is that needs to be said in order for you to protect your energy and balance your energy out so that you can continue to be a light for people, but not a depleted light for people. Tell me a little bit more about what we don't see coming here, Spirit. Here's the Magician at the bottom of the deck. Yeah, here's the Eight of Swords. This is being stressed. This is being, overthinking, being in your head, overwhelmed. Not a good energy. So there really is a need for you to, here's the Page of Wands. See how he is looking into the future. There's a need to see things for what they actually are here, and kind of clear away some clutter in your energy field so that you can see, what is it I want in my life? What do I want to envision here? And remembering that fixing other people's problems is not really helping them. People are meant to fix their own problems. That's how we learn, through trial and error, through decisions that we make that we might regret, or decisions that, we might have to undo and redo and whatever else. But that's how we grow. Okay. Possible outcomes for this situation. Four of Cups. You needing to rest. Queen of Cups. Connecting to your intuition, kind of following a more intuitive path where you become more aware of, what do I say yes to, what do I say no to. And it's this, of course there can be situations, you might have small children that you need to help. There's, not a lot you can do about that, but still, try to carve out even small moments for yourself. You might have other people that, need your help physically or whatever. It's just really important that you find small pockets of time for you, so that you can listen to your inner guidance and listen to, what you intuitively know to be good for you and not good for you. Can I have a few more here? Yeah, it's time to end this old way of being where you just give and give and give and don't get anything back, and restart a new chapter. It is really, really important. Yeah, the Hierophant here. Learning to take good care of yourself. Learning to follow that intuition. And letting go of that overgiving. Here's the Ten of Swords, which also is an ending. So now we have two cards of endings here. Letting go of that pattern so that you can, live in a more balanced way. 8 of Pentacles here. But see, he's working. Yeah, there's a lot of work here, but he's also sitting here meditating, looking at the sky, kind of connecting with what's his higher purpose. Why is he here? How can he do? I don't know why I think it's a he, but it's wolf energy. Beautiful. Okay, advice here. Spirit, any advice for the viewer here? Judgment. Yeah, this is about, needing to see things clearly, needing to see what they are. There might be people in your life that really could do a lot of things for themselves, that have gotten kind of used to you fixing everything for them. And it's time to see that for what it is and let go of that and step into a place where you're kind of like, nope, sorry, I can't help you with that. Nope, you're going to need to do that yourself because I am busy over here doing something. And yeah, this will probably ruffle some feathers with some people. But this is really about stepping into your authentic way of being and learning to, discern what is good for me and what is not, and find the balance between giving to other people and taking care of yourself so that you don't deplete yourself. Tell me more about the Judgment card. Here's the Chariot. Time to move. 2 of Pentacles. Definitely time to make a change. Time to make a decision to take better care of yourself. 6 of Swords. Leaving conflict behind. And here's the Queen of Wands. See how much freer she is. So this is actually a very short reading, but very clear message. It is time for you to look at what do you need in order to feel happy, to feel healthy, to feel fulfilled. And it's okay to take that. You're not obligated to fix other people's problems. Again, small children is a different story. But adults around you really need to learn to fend for themselves, And that's not to say you should never help anyone, but there needs to be balance. There needs to be an equal give and take. There needs to be time and space for you to, pursue what you want to pursue, to follow your dreams, to make sure that you live a life that makes sense to you, that is filled with all the things that you need. So, time to let go of this old way of acting as if everything is okay and you have all the energy in the world when you're actually really depleted and need to take care of yourself. Very clear message for Spirit. And again, it's not to say that you can't be a guiding light for people. You most certainly can. But in order to shine bright, you have to take care of yourself first. That's just, the loving and kind thing to do. So I hope this can help. Give it a thumbs up if it resonates. Leave me a comment if you feel called, or subscribe to the channel. Again, this is Walking Wilder. I'm Bark, and thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Big love.